Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant, and I'm here with Dan Wang, Product Manager for Hasselblad in the US. Hi Dan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm feeling young because this is a very hip space. The operative word being space, the operative location being 632 Broadway in Manhattan, New York City. How did you come to have this space?
Well, there was a kind of a question of how can we get people to interact with Hasselblad in a way that we feel is authentic to the brand. So our hope is that people, schedule an appointment online, and if they have an interest in an H6D and X1D, they can come meet with us one-on-one.
It's a really cool place. Sitting next to you is not an X1D, is it?
No, something a little bit different. Next to me, I've got the H6D-400c multi-shot, the latest generation in the multi-shot line from Hasselblad.
So let's talk about that. I want to just let you guys know not to get annoyed if you hear rattles every now and again. That's just New York City heating for you.
Yeah.
So we'll just live with that. Now, Dan, we talked about this earlier. The nomenclature is 400, but it's not a 400 megapixel sensor, is it?
Correct. It still has a 100 megapixel sensor. 400 is derived from the maximum possible resolution, where we do a 6-shot sequence to achieve a 400 megapixel finished file.
Now, the irony in this is that for those of us who know the technique, we're probably more likely to call it pixel shift. We're probably will have heard it first through Sony or Panasonic, but Hasselblad actually has a long history with this kind of technology, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've been doing a multi-shot technology for multiple generations of the H line. It's really exciting because it started as just a methodology of getting usable color data and usable resolution, and now it's evolved into the ultra-high resolution. So 400 megapixels, that finished TIFF file is around 2.4 gigabytes. The compressed RAW file, which is a lossless RAW, it's only 700 or so megabytes.
Who do you see as the target audience for this particular technology?
Well, it's interesting in that multi-shot, because it's already grown up in that sense, it's really established itself in museums, libraries, archives. People whose...
Oh, that's why we have this here.
Yeah, it's. I'm not just trying to hawk my own work here.
Nice job, though.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. It looks like you cribbed it off of somebody.
I think the Fine Goodwill organization.
Yeah. Okay.
So multi-shot, because it's been established in multiple generations now, it's kind of becoming a standard for museums, libraries, archives, people who their purpose is to document history. And in many of these cases, the objects that they're documenting are precious. They're one-offs. They're the only thing that exists. And they're so delicate that they must be treated with the utmost of respect. But also, in the situations when they're being photographed, it's a rare opportunity. Exposing a Dutch master's painting to visible light does degrade it faster and faster and faster. So when they choose to document it photographically with a camera, not only it must be the truest telling of the current state of that painting, but it also must have the most data possible so that it's future forward. So as we move into the future, someone who wants to study the technique of the painter, someone who wants to see brushstrokes and tiny detail, and even, exactly. There's a camera that can achieve that to the highest level of quality possible.
Well, as I said in the review of the X1D, this is a very interesting time for Hasselblad. It's a very interesting time for medium format. It makes perfect sense in this kind of very narrow, highest quality segment that Hasselblad would have, in effect, a halo model.
Well, it's, while we are expanding the definition and depth and reach of medium format, we aren't losing sight of what we call our flagship users, people who really truly turn to medium format for that extra level of imaging detail and that extra level of performance that only a larger sensor can achieve.
Well, look, Dan, thanks for this. Guys, really, it is one of the things that I enjoy most about New York City, my hometown. To come to a place which, when I say is incredibly hip, I'm not even half joking. It just shows an aesthetic sensibility, an emphasis on creativity and the architecture and emotion of space that I just find absolutely fascinating. I really think you've chosen a wonderful location to represent the brand. And Dan, I wish you and the team the best of luck.
Well, thank you, Hugh. Appreciate that.
For Three Blind Men and an Elephant, I'm Hugh Brownstone, Dan Wang. See you soon.